Hey, Shalom. I'd like to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Waha, Rachak Radash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, to our elder bishops, to our elders, and to the brothers out here in the truth, pushing His word in truth and sincerity. This is Mafia from the GMS Dallas camp, and wanted to go into a quick lesson. Lord willing, this will be edifying. And what I wanted to actually speak on is the faith that we have to have is in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, Yahweh, who the word English calls God. All right, that is his true Hebrew name. All right, meaning He is. And Yahweh Shai is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. All right, and when you put that Yahweh and Yahweh Shai together, it goes into Yahweh Shai, like you say, who the world calls Jesus, but his true name in Hebrew is Yahweh Shai, meaning He is. They can go into He is our deliverer, He is our salvation. All right, and we're finna go into some real troubling times. You know, we're starting to see. You can look in all these different places, Sri Lanka, and not even just that. It's so many different areas now that you're have the rioting of the people. When the scripture speaks on that, about how it's going to be the rioting of the people and basically the battle against the people, which is the citizens and the governments, and that's going to hit home here in America, very soon. But we have to have that faith that we're going to be all right. Why? Because the Lord told us. All right. And I wanted to read an account, and how Paul, he walked in faith and did not let that fear, that fear abide in him. And he stood out as that faith that he, that path of faith that he walked, or he actually stood out. All right. Because, like I say, it's going to be times like it never have been seen on earth. And also, you're going to have that serpent, okay? You're going to have that damn devil, which is Esau. He's going to use his armies to come down on Jake, which is so-called Black, Latinos, and Native Americans. And he'll have you coming down on you like a great flood, as it says in the scriptures, Revelations 12, around the 12th verse. All right. But we have to have that good faith, that good belief that the Lord is going to keep us from the time of temptation, the time of death and mourning. Okay. These are the things that we have to have faith in. All right. And that builds up that substance in faith when you stay into the scripture, when you pray. All right, when you stay brotherly along, be along amongst the brothers, you be brotherly, and you know what I'm saying, and just be true to yourself and be true to your men that's in this walk with you. And who knows, like I said, you may have to walk alone when this time really hits home, because it's going to become lawless. It's going to become, like I say, where food probably had to be rationed. It's going to be time. It's a time where food had to be rationed out. All diseases, pestilence, all these things are finna come upon the earth and fast paced, and we see it. Okay, the gas running out, and the food. So they're gonna bring, like I say, order out of chaos. So Esau's gonna bring that, and we know ultimately what his goal is for that charagma. When we say charagma, all right, goes into the actual MOT to the B, which is chip, okay? As it reads in Revelations 13. He's going to call all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, all right? And it also goes in Revelations 14 that if you receive it, what's going to happen? You're going to receive death and destruction. But this man that's actually ruling, because the scriptures say the earth was given to the hands of the wicked. Job 9:24. That's something that we always have to bring out, that scripture, because it's very valid. We know all the scripture is valid, but with that one, it got to give light to who your enemy is. And we have to walk a certain path to know. And the Lord, like I said, open our eyes to get this understanding. The Monatazak went into an owl, like the eyesight. They actually have that. Owl has that, so they can see at night. And we're walking in this valley of death. All right, this is basically a dark place that we're in, which is Babylon the Great, aka America. And their Western ways, as they call it, has spread throughout the earth. Going back to the earth given to the hands of the wicked, and the wicked is today your so-called white man. But we have that eyesight to see what's going on. We have came out of the world, okay? So they're gonna look upon us, and we're walking in the spirit. How about you, Shai? We're gonna have that light that following, okay? Like me and the brother Anna out here in Dallas, we when and got something to eat earlier, and this guy just came and just started talking to us, and we were just saying, yeah, man, it seemed like when you go, just people just adapt or attracts to it. They come to us to talk. It's just that we have a different spirit upon us. All right. Because they see like you're walking like the Matrix. They know something is different about a man of the Lord. Lord, when we're those men. And I don't want to keep talking. I know I've referenced some scriptures, but I wanted to go ahead and get into this. Lord willing, this will be edifying. All right. And this is, like I say, getting into the account of, I'm going to go into Acts 28. And I'm going to get into the account of Paul, as Paul was actually walking. I'll get into it, but basically, I think not too long after the shipwreck, he went into the island where they call them barbarous people, So I'm going to get to it, and you get the point, Lord willing. And this is Acts 28:1. It says, and when they were escaped, then they knew that the island was called Melita. And the barbarous people showed us no little kindness, for they kindled a fire, received us every one because of the present rain and because of the cold. All right. So they was, I would say kind of rough, the people, but when they saw them, they received them, right? They took them in, because like I said, they just came from a shipwreck. And the Lord blessed them to get out, and safely. And they took them in, built a fire, because I'm sure they was wet, and they received them and took they treated them with kindness and welcome with gratitude, like come on in, So verse 3, and when Paul, and this is Melita is like an island, I believe. Yeah, it's an island. It is actually a small island. All right, so verse 3 says, and when Paul had gathered a bundle of sticks and laid them on the fire, there came a viper out of the heat and fastened on his hand. So a viper came out and bit him on his hand. There was some pain. Verse 4, and when the barbarians saw the venomous, all right, so this was a venom, snake full of venom, a viper. And when the barbarians saw the venomous beast hang on his hand, they said among themselves, no doubt this man is a murderer, whom he has escaped the sea, yet vengeance suffered not to live. So they're looking at him, which true before, when his name was Saul, all right, Paul was, you could call him that, and he probably would have been a through man. But like say, he had that faith. He got knocked off of the horse, and the Lord spoke with him, which spoke with him was Shai. and he basically changed, stepped out of the ways of the world and walked in the path of righteousness through the path of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah, which is our forefathers like Paul. He's a great example of how we're supposed to be in today's society. We're supposed to realize and get the name, realize who we are, and then start following certain, critique yourself. Put out that old man, bury that old man, the ways it used to be, and put on a new way of life. All right. So when they saw this, they were like, "Well, this is if a man get bit by a venomous spider, a venomous viper." They're like, "Oh yeah, we've been out here. And I'm pretty sure someone saw someone get bit by a snake before, and they were like, "Oh, he is through." But let's keep going. Verse 5, it says, "And he shook off the beast into the fire and felt no harm." All right. And it says, "Howbeit they looked when he should have swollen or fallen down dead suddenly. But after they had looked a great while and saw no harm come to him, they changed their minds and said that he was a god." All right. So they changed their mind and said, "Okay, this is not no ordinary man. What manner of man is this?" And when you look at the situation, Paul possibly was preaching, and he kept on preaching to him after he probably got bit by that viper, threw it off, and just kept going. Now, when you first saw, like you say, when they came into the island, they received them. So they probably, the Lord, he was walking the path in the righteous path, okay? And these barbarians looked at him, and they probably said, yes, it was some about him, all right? And they brought him in, took him in, and got him dry, put fire. So everything was all good. They welcomed him, and then they saw him get bit by a viper, and they were like, "Oh man, this man is through." But then when they saw he didn't get put to death, they were like, "Yeah, he a god." But the Lord said, "Ye are gods, but you shall die like men." But the remnant in these last days, you may have, like I say, it will be martyrs, things like that. But, they will not taste death. That's scripture. So you're going to have deliverance. And this is a good faith booster, because Paul got bit by a snake and just threw it off and didn't have no fear. All right? He had no fear. Because he has a fear in what? He has a fear in Yahweh, the Most High. And like you said, we can't get to the Father but through the Son, our big brother Yahweh Shai. And he's following that path, so he's walking a righteous path. And these times that we're in, it's going to be a lot of snakes out here. You're going to have, like I say, snakes that when lights go out, it's going to be real rough. It's going to get real bad. These nigga women, these women, period, they finna see a new way of life. They're gonna be getting fucked up out here. Excuse my language, as they say, or not. However you want to take it. Hell, everybody cuss. You watch a movie, you hear cussing all the time, as they say, and it's not a curse. It's just an expression of words, a strong expression of words. All right. When they say hate, that's just a strong expression of words. All right, a strong dislike. So hell. So it's getting to a point where, like I said, we have to be like Paul, have that faith and no fear. Because we have all our fear is fearing Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. So to these that's coming down on us, that is in these earthly vessels, the hell with them. All right? And I want to go ahead and get another scripture here. This is Baruch 4. And I'm going to start at verse 2, if I can find it. Well, I can bear with me. There we go. This is Baruch 4 and verse 2. All right. It says, It says, turn thee. You know what? Let's start at verse 1. It says, this is the book of the commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and the law that endureth forever. All right, so the scriptures is a way of life, okay, and it's going to endure forever. All right. Keep going. In the middle of verse 1, it says, and they that keep it shall come to life. So we're coming out that dry bones that we were talking in speaking in Camp Friday, and we went and going into Ezekiel 37, those dry bones, like I said, and it said in there they're very dry, no moisture in them. So we're coming out of that state because what, we got this living water, okay, that has come upon us and have basically brought us back to life. And this is the way to receive that life and that everlasting salvation and walk ye in the path of the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Like you said, and they that keep it shall come to life, but such leave it shall die. So who's gonna be coming to life in these times of trouble? All right, of Jacob's trouble that's vastly coming upon us. Certain places already turning into that, because you got Jake, which is, like I said, we say Jake, short for Jacob, who are the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Hence the 12 tribes of Israel, which is the so-called Black, Latinos, and Native Americans, but we are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth amongst these other nations. Because you are who your father is. It don't go through you don't have mix. You know, oh, that's a mix, baby. No. Who's the father? If the father is a so-called black man, then this baby is a so-called black person. If this so-called African, then he's about the father is, then he's supposed to call African. You know what I'm saying? So this is basically mainly going through, because the book was for what? The nation of Israel. The commandments were for who? The nation of Israel. So who walks in this? It's going to be the elect, the remnant of the nation of Israel. All right? The elect. The select group, because it says 2/3 will perish and die. So 2/3 probably, like I say, will leave it, because everyone could hear it. But they like to say, whether you hear or forbear. Some of them, like I say, majority of Jake is not going to hear it. You so-called Black, Latinos, and Native Americans. But verse 2, it says, turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. All right? So, like I say, turning away from that old man and walking in the righteous path. Micah 2. You know what I'm saying? Come out of the old ways. Come out of her, my people, the ways and philosophy of this world. And come into the correct way of living that the Lord gave us. All right? He written upon a stone during the time of Moses. All right? Verse 2 again is to turn thee, O Jacob. Okay? And when you say Jacob here, he's talking about the nation of Israel. That's why we say Jake. All right? So turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated. And this is how Paul was walking in the light, in the spirit. So when that snake bit him, he threw it off. And like you say, when they saw him, they knew they called him a god after saying that, because he was illuminated. All right? When you're illuminated, that goes into being to shine, to show forth. So we're illuminated. That means spiritually we are standing out amongst the crowd. All right. So when we walk in that spirit, we walk in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And from there, like I say, we're walking, because this is the valley of the shadow of death here. All right. That low valley. All right. Referring to Psalms 23. All right. So who are we walking? When we walking in the spirit, and like I say, walking and walking in the presence thereof of the light, and we're illuminated. What are we walking in? We're walking in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. I love to say that name. That is a beautiful name, as all brothers know. All right, this is John 12 and verse 40. 40, 46, and this is Yahweh Shai speaking, right? We'll start at verse 44. It says, Yahweh Shai cried and said, He that believeth, I believeth on me, believeth not on me, but on him that sent me. All right. So he's saying, He that believeth in me, believe in the one that sent me. And he's talking to the some of the Pharisees here at this point. All right. So Lord Yahweh Shai is saying that you believe in me, you know, you're not just believing on me. No, you're believing on the Most High, our Father, who sent me down. All right. So he's coming in as a representative of the Most High Yahweh. All right. And verse 45, it says, He that seeth me seeth him that sent me. One thing is just like when your son, you have a son, it's like, they say, oh man, that you are you know your father. You are your father's child. What I'm saying? They can say that by the persona, demeanor, or by, like I said, their look. So that's let you know also if Yahweh Shai came down as a so-called black man, then and he said, "You see me, you'll see the one that sent me. You know what the Most High will look like, right?" Verse 45, and he that seeth me seeth him that sent me. I am come a light into the world. All right, so he's coming to a light in the world. All right, and we supposed to be walking in the presence of that light thereof. So when we walk in the presence of Yahweh Shai, or Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, we're being illuminated through the Spirit. It says, I am come a light into the world, that whosoever believeth on me should not abide in darkness. So if you believe in him, you should not abide in darkness. All right, so we have came out of the Western ways. We have to live here. Yahweh Shai said, give Caesar to what's belongs to Caesar, give to Caesar, but give to Yahweh what belongs to Yahweh. All right. So that account with Paul that actually got like I said, that serpent bit him. He was illuminated. He already walked the righteous path, and when they saw when he threw it and just kept on doing his what he like you say preaching and kept going because he had just brought some bundles of sticks over and he didn't perish and didn't even worry about it. They were like, man, this man is a god. Yes, the Lord put that power and that spirit in him, and we're gonna start seeing things like that because that's a miracle, and we're gonna start seeing things like that. That is coming. Spiritual powers, because that's spiritual power. You get bit by a venomous snake and you ain't perish. You just keep on doing what you was doing. But we gotta walk in that light to receive those things. Because the things that we lose here, we're gonna receive 100-fold. Why not want that? And we know this is about the end. We know this world is over with, man. Why not walk in that righteous path? That's what it says. We just read John 12, where the Lord said He is the light. When you read in John 10, what did He give you? He gave you a straight, you know what I'm saying, the way to salvation. There's no other way but through Him. All right. John 10:1, it says, Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. But he that entereth in by the door of the shepherd or the sheep is the shepherd of the sheep. All right. So the Lord gave through the commandments and understanding, He gave us a certain way to walk. All right, a straight gate, a narrow path to salvation, and that's why He said, "Walk ye in it." And we have that light to walk and see the path that we're going, and through the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, and that brings forth faith. So, like I say, the vipers are coming, the snakes are coming. We're gonna see things that's gonna happen, but just like Paul, we just gotta keep it moving. Don't we be circumspect, as it says in Ephesians 5, because these times of evil, bad times are at hand. But like I say, we had the class on Saturday, going into John 3, and then we from the brother Shard did a beautiful lesson, and then we jumped into what is that? Numbers 28 about the fiery serpent. I mean the brass serpent. Now that's Yahweh Shai is that representation. We have to look up, all right, because he is the light now. They used the brass serpent when it was getting, because as we mentioned in the class, like I said, the snakes, when, because if you don't know the account, you can go and read it, but after going in and basically conquer some of the Canaanites, uh, our people started going off and murmuring about Moses, and things like that. And what did the Lord do? He sent all type of serpents and biting and killing them. So he put up a brass serpent for them to look upon. And if they get bit, then they look up upon that and they shall not die. And that's the faith we have to be in. Because now who is our brass serpent? Yahweh Shai. And we have to look upon him. All right, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. We can't get to the Father but through the Son. Look upon him to receive that salvation. But we can't just be doing willy-nilly and doing everything in the world. Then be like, okay, I'm going to jump back into it. No, you got to keep walking that righteous path, but he is the light. One thing about if you're in a dark area, a real dark place, because in the country you can't even see your hand and you put it in front of your face, and when it's real dark with no light around. If you have a light and somebody's walking with a flashlight and they walking and cutting corners and going in a narrow path, if you get further and further behind or walk a different way, or you can eventually lose that light and be like, dang, you know. So you have to, because they're walking away from you. So the thing is, we have to keep focused and make sure spiritually that we're on the righteous path. I'm speaking to myself first and foremost, but that is the way we have to walk, having that faith and that belief. So, Lord willing, this was edifying. I'm gonna go ahead and break it off here. And I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Waha, Rakha Kodash. Hey, Shalom.